Connor Kenway was doomed to fail. Lying in the wake of one of the most popular video game characters of all time, Connor possessed none of the traits that made people fall in love with Ezio Auditore. Where Ezio was charismatic and charming, Connor had no qualms about making enemies.
I will not die today. The same cannot be said for you.
And cared very little about making friends.
Connor, hello again. What brings you to Boston?
It is hard to sell an introspective brute to a fan base that had come to expect.
Only the most interesting man in your life.
Where Ezio took everything in stride, Connor exercised his will upon the world with sheer force. Connor is far more complicated than the typical assassin. Where most are driven by vengeance, greed, family, Connor is driven by hope. Hope that he can preserve land for his people. Hope that he can end the needless oppression of others. Hope that he can save the world from those that wish to enslave it. This hope is what leads Connor to his biggest successes and his most traumatic mistakes. It is hope that draws me in and makes him one of my favorite protagonists in the franchise. And hopefully, by the end of this video, yours too. To truly understand Connor, we have to start from the beginning, before Connor ever existed. Here, he was just known as Ratonhnaké. During a game of hide and seek, he is kidnapped and threatened by Charles Lee.
I could snap your neck, you know. A little more pressure, and pop. The sad little flame of your life extinguished.
This is his first introduction to the Templars, but he doesn't know that. To him, this is just the first introduction to the colonists, and it led to the death of his mother. So you can see how this will shape his perspective. To him, any outsider presents a threat to his people. After the visions from the apple show him the future he fears,
maintaining your current course will result in a negative outcome.
To be a possibility,
premature access will destabilize the region. Your village and its people will be destroyed.
He will go to any lengths to stop it.
Go away!
I'm not leaving! I'm never leaving!
Venturing with Achilles, he is left stranded in Boston after the massacre. When Samuel Adams approaches,
You're Achilles' boy. Connor, was it? I saw what happened at the townhouse. A fine mess, that.
Who are you?
Samuel Adams, at your service.
Connor's distrust is apparent. Despite Adams helping clear his name, Connor questions his behaviors.
This feels wrong. Why not just speak to someone and explain my innocence?
You can't be serious.
We counter one lie with another. Words on paper instantly taken as truth. And all of it without question.
They loose this beast. Or have you forgotten? I merely helped you tame and turn it round.
There must be another way.
It is easy to pass this off as naive, but Connor is not a dumb, gullible kid. He knows to be wary of these men.
Thank you for everything, Sam. I promise one day to repay the favor.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
But his hopes that good will prevail paints a picture of Connor's biggest strength, but also his biggest fault, his heart. After saving Terry, he offers the traveling lumberjack space on his land. This is something he does multiple times throughout the game, building his homestead with those down on their luck, but with something to offer the world. Connor recognizes the best in people. He cares for them because he sees a part of himself in them. He once was a boy who lost everything, and now he is giving these people a chance to be a part of something again. Ultimately, it's his heart that drives the story, as when news of his village being under attack reaches him, he must respond.
What would you have me do? I made a promise to my people.
If you insist upon this course of action, seek out Sam Adams in Boston. He'll be able to help. What have you done?
When my people go to war, a hatchet is buried into a post to signify its start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
Despite his better judgment to trust the colonists, he does so to save his people. He is hesitant to trust those in power, especially those that seem to ignore the needs of their inferiors, and this extends to friends as well as foes.
It's good to see the people finally taking a stand against injustice.
Says the man who owns a slave.
Ooh, sorry? I practice what I preach, my friend. She's not a slave, but a freed woman, at least on paper. Men's minds are not so easily turned. It's a tragedy that for all our progress, still we cling to such barbarism.
Then speak out against it.
We must focus first on defending our rights. When this is done, we'll have the luxury of addressing these other matters.
You speak as though your condition is equal to that of the slaves. It is not.
It is through this lens in which he illustrates the ultimate assassin responsibility to people, not power. What he doesn't understand is that to help the most people, seeking power is a necessary pursuit, and he clashes with Samuel Adams because of it.
Shall we be off?
No.
What's the matter?
I have spent today drawn from one bit of madness to another with nothing to show for it. Before I go any further, I would like to know exactly what it is you intend.
You have to remember that Connor is only here because Samuel Adams can help him save his village. His biggest fear is being used as a pawn in a colonist's game, distracting him while his people are driven from their land. This explains his hostility towards Paul Revere upon his arrival back in Boston.
What a relief! You came! Allow me to...
Your letter said John Pitcairn was here.
Aye. He's readying an assault on Lexington, where Adams and Hancock have taken shelter. You must help us.
Only tell me where to find him, and I will put a stop to this.
We have an entire army of our own, merely awaiting the order to take up arms.
Then you must call upon them.
Indeed. You and I cross the Charles River and rouse the boys. No time for dawdling, my friend. We have lives to save. Come on.
A pattern has begun to form, and Connor is aware of it. The Patriots' goals are aligned with his, but their success is dangled in front of him in order to secure his aid. He becomes frustrated with their lack of urgency.
Do you know where Pitcairn could have gone? I need to find him. Every day I wait, more will suffer.
And even more frustrated with their moral compromises.
And what of them?
We do the best we can with what we've got.
It is not enough.
When his father enters his life, we see his heart begin to be Connor's demise. Despite Hatham continually portraying himself to be exactly the man Connor thought he was, he can't help but hope that he can be saved.
Imagine what might be accomplished if we were to unite.
Why the change of heart? Where is this coming from? You've met your father, haven't you?
I do not claim to trust the man or even like him. But I would be remiss to ignore this opportunity.
Hatham treats Connor the same way.
The people have made their choice, and it was Washington.
People chose nothing. It was done by a group of privileged cowards seeking only to enrich themselves. They convened in private and made a decision that would benefit them. Oh, they might have dressed it up with pretty words. That does not make it true. The only difference, Connor, the only difference between myself and those you aid is that I do not feign affection.
Their philosophical sparring adds a wrinkle into Connor's faith. Hatham is telling Connor what he already knew to be true, but his own hope for the good in the hearts of others has blinded him to it.
And what's this?
Private correspondence.
Oh, of course it is. Would you like to know what it says, Connor? It seems your good friend here has just ordered an attack on your village. Although attack might be putting it mildly. Oh, tell him, Commander.
We've been receiving reports of Allied natives working with the British. I've asked my men to put a stop to it.
Unfortunately, Connor's deepest fears realized. Man after man, including his own father, promises him that by aiding their cause, it will ensure his village's survival. Sometimes, there isn't always a right choice. Not everything is good versus evil. Sometimes, there is just the more practical option. Connor learns to accept this in the most humbling of ways. But with Connor's sudden realization that no one is truly on his side, it is understandable why he would find Washington's words hollow.
Charles Lee has betrayed you. He forced retreat in the midst of battle, hoping the lost would take the lives of your men and see you relieved of your command.
What?
I'm sure he will come and spin a tale saying that he was outnumbered or I was somehow to blame. All lies. I will say it one last time. That man is your enemy, and he will not stop until you are dead or dishonored.
I will investigate these allegations at once.
The time for that is long past.
This must be done properly, else we're no better than those we oppose. Never mind the political ramifications of such an act.
Should you choose to spare Lee's life, then I will take it myself. Enjoy your victory, Commander. It will be the last I deliver you.
Now completely on his own, he must take down Charles Lee alone.
My father is dead. Charles Lee now leads the Templar Order in his place. I see now why ours is an eternal war. For each piece taken from the board, another is placed upon it. Back and forth we go. Across the world. Across the ages. Some days mine feels an impossible task. But I cannot afford to be consumed with doubt. The people need me. Now more than ever. I will kill Charles Lee.
He sought to ensure that his people would stay on their land. He failed. He sought to uphold his principles. He failed. Those he aided succeeded. And upon his return to Juneau, he realizes once again he was just a pawn in her game as well.
You have done as we asked. You have succeeded.
No, I have failed. My people are gone. Chased out by those who I thought would protect them.
It is a trade, a sacrifice.
I do not understand.
Nor need you. Only do as we ask. Then, you may do as you wish.
But what of my people?
You have saved this place, as was your people's purpose, and that matters most.
It is not enough.
It will never be enough. You strive for that which does not exist.
Mother, Father, I am sorry. I have failed you both. I made a promise to protect our people. I thought if I could stop the Templars, if I could keep the revolution free from their influence, that those I supported would do what was right. They did, I suppose, do what was right. What was right for them. As for you, Father, I thought I might unite us, that we would forget the past and forge a better future. In time, I believed you could be made to see the world as I did, to understand. But it was just a dream. This too I should have known. Were we not meant to live in peace then? Is that it? Are we born to argue? To fight? So many voices, each demanding something else. It has been hard at times, but never harder than today. To see all I worked for, perverted, discarded, forgotten. You would say I have described the whole of history, Father. Are you smiling then? Hoping I might speak the words you long to hear? To validate you? To say that all along you were right? I will not. Even now, faced as I am with the truth of your cold words, I refuse, because I believe things can still change. I may never succeed. The assassins may struggle another 1,000 years in vain, but we will not stop. Compromise. That is what everyone has insisted upon. And so I have learned it. But differently than most, I think. I realize now that it will take time, that the road ahead is long and shrouded in darkness. It is a road that will not always take me where I wish to go. And I doubt I will live to see its end. But I will travel down it nonetheless. For at my side walks hope. In the face of all that insists I turn back, I carry on. This is my compromise.